What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boy oh boy, the good news for Battlefield 6 just keeps on coming in. Seriously, we just got done finding out that, Battlefield 6 is one of the best-selling FPS games of the year, meaning that it's pretty dang successful. Not saying it's outbeating BO7. BO7 might actually come on through and do some numbers, but I'm going to be real, it's not looking too hot just yet. So, overall, Battlefield 6 is killing it. But we also got some more information that is going to be extraordinarily exciting for a lot of you guys when it comes to the future of Battlefield 6 and the potential that's going to be coming into this game. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, before we go and dive on deep, if you guys are interested in more content like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and a second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And we go ahead and discuss all different types of games: Battlefield, Gears, Call of Duty, Splitgate, Arc Raiders, all of the above. If you guys enjoy that variety content, subscribe and hit the bell. And if you like watching variety content live and in action, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And today we're actually going to be checking out the final Splitgate 2 playtest. So if you guys are interested and you want to see how that game is turning out before they relaunch, then by all means, you can find a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of things to go ahead and discuss. As I stated, the future of Battlefield is looking very bright, and apparently there's a lot of ex-DICE developers coming back into the scene. But before we actually dive into that information, there's one more thing I want to showcase to you guys because I thought this was pretty cool. Not really worthy of its own video, but I still want to, showcase it to you all because to me personally, it just continuously shows how well Battlefield 6 is performing. As you can see right here from Modern Warzone. Breaking: Battlefield announces the RedSech Elite series with over $1 million in pricing across America's EMEA and APAC regions. Ladies and gentlemen, this is extremely exciting to see because I don't think EA will be dishing out millions of dollars in prize money if the game wasn't successful, if the game wasn't doing well, if it wasn't maintaining players and bringing more players into the experience and having decent player counts. They would not be dishing out this cash. But the fact that they are showcases to me that EA is still extraordinarily confident with this product. And I'll say this as well. It is on their Battle Royale experience. It's not, actually cash prize money being won for playing Battlefield for what Battlefield is. But it's still not a negative thing because it's still going to bring more players into the overall experience and a lot more eyes on the product itself. I've been saying it time and time again, BR might not be my thing, and I don't really think that RedSech is that great. I'm just going to say it. I don't think it's that outstanding, but, I'm kind of biased because, as I stated, I don't really care for BRs anymore. But regardless of what my opinion is, it will bring more eyes on Battlefield as a product, and that is exactly what we need right now to get players into the experience and, enjoy the overall game. Of course, there are the negatives that, RedSech pops off enough that EA will hyper-prioritize that over the multiplayer experience, but I don't really think it's going to happen because it doesn't seem like it got a Warzone type of pop where it's going to take over the whole game. It got a little bit of a pop, and it's retaining players, but, we'll see how things unfold. But for the time being, I think it's a good entry point, especially since it's free to play, to get players to feel what Battlefield 6 really feels like, the gunplay, the movement. They can actually, test the atmosphere of the game, and again, if they enjoy it, they can go ahead and purchase the game. And talking about purchasing the game, Battlefield 6 is actually on sale right now, ladies and gentlemen. So for those who are waiting for a little bit of a sale, I think the base version of the game is like $50, $50 to $59. And the premium version, the $100 edition, I think is like $84 to $85, I believe. Still not a massive discount, but good enough that I think it's worth it. And in my personal opinion, I know everybody's going to call me a shill. I don't care. I have a ridiculous amount of hours in this game. I'm obsessed with it. It's probably one of my favorite FPSs out right now. I definitely think it's worth the price tag. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not the only thing that's going on right now within Battlefield 6, showcasing that, it's doing very well, it's successful, and it's making EA happy at the end of the day. There's more to it, guys. There's a lot more to it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't remember, EA actually went ahead and rehired one of the, people who put together some of the maps in previous Battlefield games. For example, this individual put together maps like Iwo Jima and even Siege of Cairo within Battlefield 6. So, they put together a lot of the good maps. Even in Battlefield titles that aren't very popular, like Battlefield 2042, this individual put together Orbital. So one of the best maps in the game is still put together by this person. And they're coming back because they still have a little bit more faith in EA at the moment. And that is a huge good sign. But that's not it, ladies and gentlemen. I saw some more people are coming on through. As you can see right here from Battlefield Intel. DICE Dev says, ex-DICE devs are returning. Welcome back. And this by Daniel saying, seeing quite an influx of ex-DICers coming back to DICE. Every week I bump into someone new. So awesome to see. I completely agree. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's a few things that are extremely important about this overall topic, and I know people are going to say, oh, well, who cares? X-Dice devs are coming back in, whatever. It's irrelevant. But this, I don't think people understand how massive, how huge this actually is. First and foremost, it showcases that EA is happy with the overall product, and they want to reinvest in the overall game. They're bringing these developers to work on Battlefield and Battlefield 6. If they weren't happy with the product and they thought it was going to fail, they would not be hiring more people to continuously keep working on it, which means more than likely we're going to be getting some pretty beefy updates. They're happy with the game. They want to see it continuously thrive, which means the more, the merrier. Maybe, this can help out with them repurposing a lot of the current maps that we have within the game. People want them expanded a bit while still allowing the core map designers to make bigger maps for future content drops. Regardless, this is good because it showcases EA is happy with Battlefield 6 and they want to see it thrive. Secondly, it's massive because it showcases a lot of developers are gaining a bit more trust within EA. I mean, let's be real here. A lot of people left, working for EA because they were scummy. And I've heard a lot of stories how, DICE develop, like for example, Embark, the development team who put together Arc Raiders. Like literally, I'm not lying to you guys. The top dogs at Embark consist of pretty much all the OG GOATs who worked at DICE. Like, I'm not saying, like, lower end developers who are working their way up. No, I'm like, top dogs at DICE left because they hated how EA controlled every last aspect of what the game is supposed to be and what they think should be going on. So they said, screw it. We're done with, working for EA. We're making our own development team, and we all saw how that turned out. Arc Raiders is doing amazing, and, congratulations to them because they really deserve it. But, again, this proves my point. People don't want to work for EA. They suck. And to see people actively wanting to come back to EA now showcases that maybe things are getting a little bit better. Don't forget, guys, Vince Impella is a top dog now. And I say it all the time, but I don't think people understand what I mean by this. I think a lot of people think, oh, yeah, Vince Impella, he's at the top of DICE. He's doing, that's pretty much it. He's at the top of the development. No, he's at the top of EA. Not a complete suit, but he has a lot of say. Like like I said, he's not just DICE. He is up there making some pretty important decisions alongside some of the top dogs at EA. So the vibes are changing here, ladies and gentlemen. The atmosphere is changing. And it seems that a lot of people who once left because they had no faith in EA are slowly coming back because I'm assuming maybe this franchise is getting a bit more freedom. I mean, we already saw a bunch of like the people who worked on Battlefield 4 who came back to work on Battlefield 6 for a very long time now. And all those guys left in the previous year. They didn't want nothing to do with Battlefield until Battlefield 6, and out of nowhere they come back and say, oh yeah, let's go ahead and make another good Battlefield game. Why? Why return now? And I think it's because, again, vibes are shifting at EA, and things are becoming a little bit better for the developers over there, which is phenomenal. And lastly, the last reason I think that this is so freaking crucial that all these guys are coming back is not only the fact that they, are beginning to trust EA a little bit more, and it seems like they are being a bit more lenient, although EA is still going to be EA at the end of the day, but still nice to see. But the fact that it seems like they are growing a passion again for the Battlefield franchise. A lot of people left because they were just kind of done with Battlefield. They didn't care anymore. And again, the direction EA is taking just wasn't for them, so they just pieced out. But now all of a sudden, we get a phenomenal Battlefield game. It seems like a lot of the people who are working on Battlefield 4 back in the day and a lot of the other OG Battlefield games are really happy working on this overall title. Every single time I see any of them tweeting or talking about behind-the-scenes stuff or, the build-up to the overall game launch, they were all having a blast. Nobody's complaining about it. Everybody's happy. It seems like they really genuinely had a good time developing Battlefield 6. And I think that's something that a lot of people were craving out of the Battlefield franchise, that while developing, they couldn't just enjoy that anymore because, again, EA was just going too far out there. This is huge because, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes down to any game out there, you want developers who are passionate about it, right? You want people who care about the franchise, love the franchise, and want to carry it and, really bring it home. It's one of the main reasons why I love newer games or indie games, because a lot of the time, it's the developers' babies compared to a lot of these other franchises nowadays like Battlefield, COD, Halo. A lot of these franchises that have been around for ages, Gears of War, it's the people who are there are not the ones who built it. Right? They're not the same ones who were there for Gears 1. Maybe some people, but, for Gears 1, the original Halo, Call of Duty, like 4, Modern Warfare, the OG Battlefields, Bad Companies and all this stuff, Battlefield 3 and 4, like, a lot of these people are long gone, right? But those were the ones who built up these franchises. These franchises were their babies. And now a lot of people who are there just maintaining the franchises, maintaining a game that already got its success, right? It's a whole different feeling when you come into a game with that mentality. But it really genuinely seems that people who are coming back to DICE want to come back because they're passionate about it again. That passion is sparked and they're excited and they want to dive back in, because maybe they're finally allowed the freedom to just, cook what they actually want to cook. And if that's the case, I'm so happy, because what they already produced with Battlefield 6 is phenomenal. I can only imagine what it's going to be like with more people who have that passion, that love for the franchise, and just that excitement to come back and really go to town. That's going to do nothing but, again, present better content for us with Battlefield 6, give us more solid updates, and also when it comes to the future of the franchise, give us good, solid games. I'm hoping that we'll never see another 2042 situation ever again, because the way things are going right now is making me extremely happy, and it gives me a lot of hope that, again, these developers are going to absolutely kick butt. And hopefully, as long as EA doesn't interfere too much, things might go smoothly for once. For Battlefield. Again, Battlefield has been struggling, guys, for a long time now. This is the first time in a long time where I'm very positive about the outlook of this overall game. But, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe to the bell. Post twice here, once at 8 a.m. Eastern Time and the second time at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And also, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, go link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all next one. Peace out.